Hi, everyone. We'll begin in a minute. I'll just ask that everyone please make sure that they're on mute and that their cameras are turned off. Thank you. All right, hello, everyone. My name's Addie. I'm a nurse health coach here for Telligen Health and Wellbeing. And today we're going to talk about 100-calorie snacks. So let's begin. As we talk about 100-calorie snacks, we may ask, what is a calorie? Well, calories are a measure of energy. We can find calories in our food supply, and they supply our bodies with the energy needed to sustain life. Why is it important to know how many calories are in food? Because eating too many calories per day can lead to becoming overweight as well as obesity. Those things can also lead to harmful effects on our body that can include heart disease, um, diabetes, osteoarthritis, gallbladder disease, fertility problems, non-alcoholic fatty liver, as well as some other things. How do we know how many calories are in our foods? We can look at our food labels. Now, I've provided an example of a food label and how to read the food label. So in the first section, it's going to go over the size of a single serving as well as the total number of servings that are in a container. The second section will also show the total amount of calories per that serving size. And down in this third section, we can see other key nutrients in a serving size that can include the amount of trans fats, saturated fats, sodium, carbohydrates, and proteins. And then section 4 will show us some details of beneficial nutrients, such as in this example, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. Now you'll note at the bottom of the food label, it'll show you the percentage of daily value. Now this is generally based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet. Now, for an individual, you're going to want to adjust that. You may need less than 2,000 calories a day, depending upon your age, your gender, your activity level, and whether you're trying to lose, gain, or maintain your weight. So now that we know kind of how to look at a food label and see the approximate serving sizes, we are going to be talking about snacks today. And so sometimes we're not always where we can measure out a serving size. So your hand can be a great tool to measure food. For example, your fingertip is generally about the size of a teaspoon. Your thumb, depending on hand size, can be 1 to 2 tablespoons. A handful is generally 1 to 2 ounces. A palm is generally 3 to 4 ounces. And then your fist is generally a cup. So now that we can see some approximate serving sizes, let's talk about some fruits and maybe some sweets that would make good snack options. Here you can see a list of some common fruits and their calories per serving size. Now, as we look at those fruits, a great way to make a snack out of that could be to mix and match some of those fruits for a low-calorie fruit salad. You can also take, for example, half an apple and a teaspoon of peanut butter for your snack. There's also some cream cheese fruit dips that are available as well. Now, here are some other recipes for some sweet ideas. One would be a frozen yogurt sandwich, which is fairly simple. You can spread 2 tablespoons of a non-fat frozen yogurt between 2 graham cracker squares. You could always use some blueberries and make a blueberry smoothie. You can also do a frozen banana pop, and you can just do the banana by itself, or you can take half of a banana and you can coat that with an ounce of low-fat plain yogurt and freeze that for the frozen banana pop. And then here are some suggestions for some more savory ideas. You can take half of a baked potato with salsa. So take half of a medium-sized baked potato that has approximately 80 calories. Make sure as you're eating that to keep the skin, as that's what's packed with nutrients. You can add a tablespoon of salsa on top of that to spice it up, and it would still keep it under 100 calories. You could also try a cheese stuffed pita pocket, and you can take a whole grain pita pocket and stuff it with 1/2 ounce of part skim ricotta cheese. And then also a cup of tomato soup, depending on brand, is approximately 80 calories. Also vegetables. Vegetables are a low calorie, large quantity food. Here are some common vegetables, and you can see their approximate calories for them. As you can see, like a cup of cucumbers is only 18 calories. A cup of raw spinach is about 7 calories. So a great way that you can eat those vegetables is you can mix and match those as well to make a salad. You can also use a couple tablespoons of low-fat ranch dressing. Depending on the brand and depending on 1 to 2 tablespoons, could be about 35 to 60 calories. You could also utilize some hummus to dip some of those vegetables in, as well as one of those sour cream based dips that you can see at the grocery store. And again, those vegetables, they are a large quantity, low calorie food. So I thought I would provide this example to say what 100 calories of vegetables look like. And you can see it shows like 14 cups of spinach, 5 cups of eggplant, 3 bell peppers, 5 cups of broccoli. So that's a large quantity for low calorie that you can have. And then, oops, sorry. And then some of the benefits of eating those vegetables are going to be that they're nutrient rich. They're packed with essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. All of that can lead to great support in weight management, heart health, digestive health, bone health, immune system support, as well as antioxidant protection. And then next we can talk about a few dairy options that are low calorie. For example, you can do 2/3 a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. That's about 100 calories. Again, you can check your food label based on brand, but they'll also have approximately 16 grams of protein. And that's really good because it'll help us stay fuller longer as we have that snack. You can also decrease that serving size and add some fruit in there with it as well to make an additional snack. You can also do 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. That'll have about 13 grams of protein, and you can pair that with some vegetables such as cucumbers or tomatoes. I know also some people will pair that with fruit, just kind of to your taste buds, what you like. And then those skim mozzarella string cheeses are about 80 calories, as well as having 7 grams of protein. Some quick and easy options for us, always nuts. Almonds, for example, 14 whole almonds are under 100 calories. They're also rich in both fiber and protein. Microwaved popcorn, again, read those nutritional labels, but some of those can have a serving size between 5 to 6 cups for 100 calories. Pistachios as well, about 20 of those is 80 calories. And then just a tip to help avoid high sodium on that is eat them raw or get the dry roasted without salt. Then a hard-boiled egg is about 72 calories. Jerky, beef and turkey is about 80 calories. Again, that's going to be dependent on brand and then also seasoning. So just make sure that you read the food label on that. Then some other tips is just make sure that you're combining ingredients to create a more satisfying snack for you. You can always add in those small amounts of peanut butter or nut butter or cheese for extra protein and calories. Use fresh seasonal ingredients with those fruits and vegetables when possible. Also consider your individual dietary needs and preferences when choosing snacks. Another tip, I know we've all seen them at the grocery store, is those pre-packaged 100-calorie snacks. And while those are going to be easy and quick for us, try not to make a habit out of snacking on them as they are made with refined flour. And while they are low in calories, they are also low in nutrients. And does anybody have any questions?